Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I want to confess that I do use marine spirits. So I have my church here in South Africa as well as a small church that I do have back home in Zim. But the curses of the marine spirits, they are now following me. They want the blood of my daughter. And honestly speaking, I really do not know what else am I going to do. When this traditional healer assisted me, he told me that there was going to be a day. He even laughed and he said that when the devil wants what belongs to him, he does not send a demon or any spirit. He comes himself and then he will collect whatever that you owe him, and he does not take any excuses. So when I did these rituals, when I wanted to start my small church, in the year 2016, when I was told that in 2028, that was when I was going to lose one amongst my daughters, I said, that is very, very far. I would have enjoyed money. So I had thought that maybe if I make money, enough money, then I make some business investments and I will stop whatever that I was doing, and then I would live a normal life since I won't be using these marine spirits anymore. Then come 2028, they would never require anything from me. But I have been sent a reminder. I do have one of my vehicles that just caught fire, and it was just parked and then it started burning. And then I was told that this was a warning of things that are yet to come, since I have not done these rituals worshipping the marine spirits in a very long time. So I have been reminded, I've been told that it is for my own good. It's either I go to Durban or Cape Town and then I collect the water from the ocean and I bring it back to Zim. There is a shrine in my bedroom in one of my properties that I bought. This was in 2018 after I had spoken with this other family. They were experiencing challenges, and I have a lot of things to say about people experiencing challenges. When you experience challenges in your life, if you sit down, if you think properly before you start to blame God, you can even find the root cause of your problems. Like in this family's case, I had spoken with their daughter who is in the UK after I had helped one of her cousin sisters who is in South Africa. So she was failing to give birth. Indeed, she had a child before, but she and her husband, they wanted another child. That was when they were brought to my church. And then I told them to buy some fresh milk, 12 lemons, honey, and then I prepared for them to drink, and then she fell pregnant. She was really amazed, she and her husband, and then I started assisting them. So what I used to do is that whenever I wanted some money, I'll just pray to the marine spirits so that these marine spirits can make their son to be sick, and then they would come running to me and then I would charge them. So this is the way that I operate. Fast forward, they then told their own cousin sister in the United Kingdom that there was this other prophetess who could assist them. So they then referred her to me. We started to talk even on WhatsApp. So what I did is that I downloaded her picture that was on her profile, and then I took that picture, printed it out, and then I went to this other river where I performed some marine spirits rituals, telling the marine spirits that I was at work. Being here in South Africa, I am at work, even though I am a prophetess, but I have kids that need to be fed. I want money. So I told those marine spirits to make sure that this woman, she was going to face misfortunes and they would be causing those misfortunes. And whenever she speaks with me, when I will tell her that I am going to pray for her, then she will see that her life is getting better. So that is what I was doing to this woman. She was now having challenges in her marriage. She was having problems at work. People were hating her, as well as her parents. The moment that I got access to her parents and I saw how old her mother was, That is what happens usually. The moment that you start to deal with a traditional healer or a prophet or a prophetess who loves money, he does not see you as a human being, but he will see you as an ATM that he can just press, do things in the spirits that will hurt you so that you can bring more money to them. That is what I was seeing in this family. They were now my source of living, and they were even pouring so much money to me. Here, 1,000 pounds, there, 2,000 pounds. You can do whatever that you want with it. So most of the people, especially African people, they believe that when they are connected to someone who is a prophet, a prophetess, a traditional healer, if they have that relationship with that person, then it means that your life will become so much better. But what you do not realize is that the person that will be assisting you spiritually, they see you as a walking ATM. They told me that there were some things that were needed to be done at their parents' property. So I went to Zim. They even bought a flight ticket for me. That was the first time that I was ever on a flight. I went to Harare. When I arrived at that place, I was even amazed because the piece of land was quite big and I loved that house. I talked to the marine spirits the time when I went to bed and I said, this house should belong to me. All the ceremonies are going to happen here. I'm going to set an altar for you, all river spirits, if you make sure that this house will belong to me, but I do not have any money to pay for this property. What is it that you can do for me? When I was fast asleep, that was when I had a dream, and in that dream I was busy playing with the marine spirits in the river. And the way that they were happy, I knew that all of my prayers, they had been answered. So the next morning, I was told that I was supposed to take some soil, and I told that old woman that I needed to prepare a meal for her so that she can be okay, as well as cleansing the house before they could sell the property, since her husband had died in that property, and this was going to cause a lot of problems. So the house had not been cleansed, because if a person dies at home, that house needs a cleansing ceremony, or else there will always be a spirit that will be hanging around. I charged them a lot of money since I knew that she had kids and relatives that were overseas. They were going to afford to pay for my services. And when I prepared a meal for her, I then took that soil, and the marine spirits told me that this was going to quicken her death. She was going to die as soon as possible. That woman passed away, and this family, they were now being controlled by the marine spirits, and then they offered this house to me. I could not even believe it, but the marine spirits told me that I was supposed to believe it, for it was about to happen. Brother Nanshi, how did I become such a prophetess? When I arrived in South Africa with my husband, so my husband went with me to this other prophet where I was told that I had a spiritual gift. So it then happened that I started sleeping around with this prophet. He then told me that I was supposed to lie to my husband that I needed to go to Zim to take care of the kids, yet he wanted to go with me to Mozambique. That is how he introduced me to this other occultist. There is a very powerful traditional healer that strengthens other pastors as well as prophets and prophetesses, and that is the place where I was strengthened and I was given some spiritual powers. I was then dedicated, and I had to dedicate the life of my kids to the marine spirits. During those days, I thought that I was just going to do this for a very short period of time, perform all of those rituals, get rich as quickly as possible, and then just dump this whole Christianity nonsense behind and then move on with my life. Little did I know that the devil will always keep records of the things that you would have asked and the things that you would have given to you. 2028, blood is supposed to be shed. So many times have I gone on my knees asking the marine spirits, asking them to at least help me, to feel sorry for me, for I cannot lose my daughter, for I love my daughter a lot, but they are quiet. They are really quiet. They only remind me that if it was not for them, my church would have never gotten so big the way that it is. It is only that this is a prophetic, apostolic prophetic church. That is why it is not like so much on social media. But I just don't want to tell you the place where we worship from in South Africa, but it is quite a very big church. And I do use another man because usually men do not want to be led by a woman. So there is this other bishop who knows that I use marine spirits to heal, to prophesy. He acts as if the church is his, but the church belongs to me. The people, they do belong to me. That is my confession. But I have learned something, that the devil will always come back to you asking for whatever that you promised that you will give to him. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister, and that was the translation of the message that was sent to me. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.